Hello everyone, welcome to day 3 of my class to go for April 16th through April 30th. If you place an order in my online store that is at least $50, you're going to earn this class to go for free. If your order is over $100 or $150, there are extra bonuses that at those specific levels. This is the bundle we're using for the books. This is in our mini catalog. Now at the time of filming these videos, this bundle was still available. It is on our last chance list, so if it has sold out, I do apologize. All the pieces that you will need that need to be die cutted will come die cutted in your kit. But you can use this stamp set if you have it, or you can substitute a different stamp set. All right, so let's go ahead and jump right in. On Monday, we made this stunner of a rainbow card. Yesterday we made this rainbow card. Now we're not making a rainbow card today, guys. We're making one with a little gift attached to it. This one we are making has a removable bookmark, so you can pull this out and use it as a bookmark. It is so cute. So that just tucks right in the front. Now there's lots of ways that you can do removable bookmarks. This one I wanted to just keep it on the front and keep it nice and simple. So that's what we're gonna do. So let's go ahead and do let's start with our linen thread. So the featured embellishment for this class to go is our gorgeous linen thread. Oops, that's just the package. Is our beautiful linen thread. This is probably my most used embellishment. Now you're looking at that and you're going, that is not the same. That's not the same ribbon. Now, it actually is. We're going to do some coloring with it. I'm going to grab a piece of scratch paper here, and I'm going to grab my dark Pretty Peacock Stampin' Blend. So this one, I've already done most of it, but we're going to color the rest of it. Now, I color my white embellishments all the time, but if you're coloring with a dark color, you can actually alter the color of almost any other color. You can, like with Pretty Peacock, I can color a pool party ribbon, or in this case, a crumb cake colored twine. So I'm just going to take my my Pretty Peacock Dark Stampin' Blend, and again, I've already done most of it, but I'm just going to carefully and slowly color those ends. And I wanted to do this first so that this has plenty of time to dry. And once it's completely dry, you'll have Pretty Peacock colored twine, which is pretty fantastic. So I'm going to set this aside to dry completely, and then we'll get to our stamping. So the only stamping is actually on our little bookmark here. So I'm going to do that. And so you have your white piece for your bookmark, and we're going to start with the greeting. And let's pull up the bookmark. I want to make sure that I leave enough room for our little bow here. And I want to start with the greeting so I know that my books don't go too high. So I'm going to turn my bookmark sideways so we can stamp our greeting. We're going to do the for the books greeting. And again, you don't want to go all the way to the right side. You want to leave a little bit of room. And let's see if I can do this. I'm going to do it pretty much in the center, a little bit off the right edge. Okay, perfect. Let's close up our Pretty Peacock ink. And then we're going to come in and do the stack of books here. Let me move that out of the way. Now I've already stamped it on a post-it note. You could use our masking paper as well. This is just on the post-it note where on the very top where it's sticky. We're going to need that. And I fussy cut around that. We're going to do some masking with that. So I'm going to start with my first layer of books right under the greeting. So I don't know about anybody else. My son is a huge avid reader, and he actually has a giant stack of books like this in his room. And he says that it's his to read pile, so it's in there, but it's a giant stack. So I'm going to cover up what I just stamped, and then we're going to come in and I'm just going to kind of line up so that the books kind of fall right under that mask there. I hope that that's kind of showing up there. And I'll hold this up. So you can see there's 2 books right under that mask. The other 2 books stamped right on the mask. But when we pull this off, it all looks like they're still in that same stack. So I'm going to move my mask down and cover up those bottom ones. And then we'll do it again. Just making sure that it all kind of lines up. When we move our mask down, we are just making a super tall pile of books. We're going to do one more, and I'm going to grab that scratch paper because we're going to go off the edge here. And just lining that up just like that. All right, let's pull off that mask And we have one giant pile of books. So super fun. Love that technique. And you can actually, this will work for a few more. It's still sticky. So you can actually just keep this in your stamp case so it's ready to go the next time you want to make a giant pile of books. All right, let me move our ink out of the way. We're going to do a little bit of coloring, which I just realized I put my Stampin' Blends away. So let me get out the colors we're going to need. We're going to need Pretty Peacock, Lost Lagoon, and Pool Party, and Gray Granite. I should have got these out in advance. I'm going to color this pretty quickly, just so that we don't take up a whole lot of time. So I'm actually going to start with my Gray Granite, and I'm only going to use my light Gray Granite. And this is really just for the pages, just for where the artist has indicated that there are, you know, shadows in the pages. So I'm just going to go through these real quick. We don't need to do a whole lot of blending on these. If you wanted to, you could use your color lifter and go through and really highlight that as well. All right, for my Pool Party, I'm going to start with my light Pool Party. And we're not going to do a whole lot of blending on any of these books. Let me zoom in a little bit for the coloring. We're not going to do a whole lot of blending on any of the books because the books are not huge. So I'm just going to kind of skip a few, do another light one, and we'll do one down here. And then I'll just come in with my dark Pool Party and maybe like the spine here. I'll give that a little bit of shading. And just kind of just under where the books are stacked. There's just going to be a little bit of shading. But that's it with the Pool Party. Not a whole lot. All right, Lost Lagoon. We're going to do the same exact thing pretty much. I'm going to start with my light. And just kind of give the whole book a little bit of a wash. This one, instead of a rainbow color, you might have noticed, we're just kind of going with the blue-green tone. And we'll do this one. Lost Lagoon and Pretty Peacock and Pool Party are such good colors together. They all just coordinate so well together. This one, and then I'll just do this very bottom one too. Okay, now we're going to go in with our dark Lost Lagoon. We're just going to do the same thing, kind of where the book's overlapping, kind of like on the top of the spine. But it doesn't have to be a whole lot of blending. We're just kind of just throwing on some color on there. And it gives it that fun look. All right, light Pretty Peacock, and we'll just do the rest of these books. And Pretty Peacock is a pretty dark color to begin with, so even the light is going to be very, very bold, very dark. All right, and down here, just have a couple more books to do. If you wanted to color these with a different medium, maybe watercolor pencils, or just colored pencils, or our Stampin' Write markers, watercoloring, any of those would be a great option. All right, for this very top book, I'm going to put my shadow on the bottom because there's nothing on top of it, so there's not going to be a shadow on top of it. And then for the rest of these, we'll just kind of add that shadow to the top. All right, and that's our stack of books. Super cute, right? I'm going to zoom out, and I need to grab the punch for our little hole there. So give me 1 second. So we have in our new online exclusives, we have a trio of punches that are, I think it's just called the Hole Punch Trio. And so it comes with 3 different punches, these little tag ones, and then this little 1/8 inch one, and that's the one we're going to use. So let me put these others aside somewhere. All right, so we have the back piece of our bookmarks. We're going to glue this down, and I want to make sure that, I mean, this bookmark is going to be used, I hope. And so I'm going to make sure that I add lots of adhesive on all 4 sides because I really want to make sure that this sticks well, that this holds up to lots of use in a book. And so we're just going to line that up. And then I'm going to punch a hole, just kind of eyeball center. If you want to use a ruler and mark center, you can absolutely do that. I'm just going to eyeball it. No, I don't think that my recipient of this card will complain if it's not perfectly center. Okay, now you have your linen thread. Now you want a fairly large piece and it's folded over in half. And once you color it with the Stampin' Blends, it gets a little bit stiffer, which I actually kind of like because it makes the bows a little bit easier to tie. And so I just have this folded in half, and I'm using both strands kind of as one to tie my bow. So we're just going to tie that bow on there, pull it nice and tight, pull the ends, and then we'll do some trimming. So this little loop here, I'm just going to cut in half, and then I'll just cut off those ends. All right, and that is our bookmark ready to go. So pretty. Now it will look so good in anybody's book. Okay, let's finish up our card. So this is the rest of our card. Super simple. The DSP that I'm using on this is the Retiring Lily Pond Lane. And again, I'm not sure if that one is available at the time of recording this as well, but I'm using a couple different patterns. So you might get one gray granite pattern, you might get another gray granite pattern. But I am going to, where's my adhesive? Here it is. We're going to stick this DSP on the very front of this. And then we're going to stick this piece of DSP on the front as well, but I'm only adding adhesive to the ends. And you want to use a strong adhesive. I probably ideally would use like Stampin' Seal Plus or even my liquid glue here, because you want to use something that's really strong, because it's going to, that bookmark's going to be pulled in and out. This will just go right across the front, and you have this little pocket now for your bookmark to slide right into. No dimensionals on this card, guys. Can you believe it? All right, that is card number 3. I hope you guys love this card. I hope you love that masking technique. I hope you give that a try. Remember to subscribe to my channel so you never miss a video. I have day number 4 for the For the Books bundle class to go coming up tomorrow. Thanks, guys. See you tomorrow. Bye.